I mostly hunt the Kodiak road system, right around Kodiak itself. And I proxy hunt for people, and you're only allowed to shoot one deer on the road system, but I also proxy hunt for quite a few people, so I shoot quite a few deer right on the Kodiak road system. Proxy hunting is, elders approach me and they've asked me if I hunt their deer for them. And if they're over 65 years old or they're disabled, then I'm allowed to proxy hunt for them, and that means I go down to the Department of Fish and Game and we fill out all the forms, and then I hunt for them.
So my father was a hunter. Elk over on Afognak Island, deer, and it was very important for him to get that. And of course, it's fun to go get it, but the job was coming home and cutting it up. That was a big job, especially with an elk, because they are, of course, much bigger than your deer.
Okay, well, usually we bring the deer back, and if it's August, it's very hard to keep it cool because you have to let it sit for a day or so. And so I usually have my freezer, and I put sleeping pads in there, and I turn the freezer on to get it chilled, and then I turn it off, and then when it warms up again, I turn, so I keep it chilled for a day. And then we bring them in one at a time, and we have all our cutting boards and our knives, and everybody has their little workstation. And we usually have like 4 or 5 bowls. We have the nasty scraps that go to the dog. We have the really nasty scraps that go over the cliff. And then we have the dog food, and then the dogs get the bones too, and they're always very happy about that. And then we have a bowl for good burger meat, and then we have a bowl for cuts, whole muscle groups that we turn into roasts, and et cetera, et cetera. But this is sort of the end product, Here's some deer burger. We usually grind all our burger at the end of the year, so this is actually from last year. But you see, we put what it is. I put the date it was packaged, and then I always put like a little picture of the animal. I always kind of like that. I have a different picture for every animal. But in general, deer is very low in fat, and that means you have to be very careful cooking it. I don't like to overcook deer because it dries out and gets kind of bad. Although some cuts I do overcook. Like I like to cook the ribs whole, and I cook them soon after we shoot the deer. And the neck meat, I cook that very slowly and steam it at about 210 degrees, very low heat for like 12 hours. And then all the fat mixes in, and it's very, very good. But in general, when you cook a deer roast, you have to cook it perfectly rare, or else it gets dried out. It's funny, different recipes go with different parts of the animal. Like I said, the ribs or the neck, I have long, slow recipes. Some of the leg roasts I like to cook like roast beef, and I make a roast, I coat them with garlic and rosemary and thyme, and then I cook it until it's medium rare all the way through, and then we have that with like roast potatoes and vegetables. Like some of the shoulder meat, the front part of the animal, I like to make pot roasts with. I put them in a pressure cooker and with carrots and onions, and I make like stews and pot roast type meals. What are some of the other? Some of the shoulder, also the better cuts of the front shoulder and stuff, we cut very thinly and make stir fries with different garden vegetables. Cabbage, kale, make a stir fry, and I mix up like a cornstarch and a sort of sauce to pour on it. What are some of the other recipes? I think my favorite though, that we like the best nowadays, is the rib meat and the neck meat. Making those, we cook it right on the grill over there. I cook it slowly, and I marinate it for a day, and then we throw it directly onto the grill.
One of the ones that we just did with my son, he's 10 years old. He was 10. He shot his first deer, and he just turned 11 this month also. And last year, he caught his first deer last fall, and it was a big thing. My brother took us out on the boat, and his dad was there, and all my nephews, and it was a beautiful day, a beautiful fall day, and it was in December. I should say most likely November, December. It was chilly. I remember it being cold, but the sun was shining, and it was so bright. And we were way up inside Yuyak, and Christian sighted his deer. I couldn't watch. I wanted to stay up there to be there, but for me it was, I knew my son was leaving me and he was stepping into the man's world. So for me it's still emotional because you see your children, you know, they progress, and it really was a time of him going from my arms into the men's world.